104.7 The K, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens in the studio for episode 196 of Dark Side of the Stream.
Yep, here we go again.
Here we go again. This week was my pick. Of course, I am a massive Unsolved Mysteries
You
homer.
you are a huge
and I mean it's
Unsolved Mysteries
it's in my blood, my friend. And so this is the fourth season on Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix, in which they, only have a certain amount of episodes. Again, it's not like the Robert Stack version where you're so familiar from the 80s and 90s. It's more of a, I don't know, kind of like a magazine show, if you will. But either way, this season I kind of had mixed emotions about.
Yes, I did as well.
Just because my whole, out of the gate, like, there are so many mysteries from the original run of that TV show that are still unsolved. And it's crazy because when you watch them in syndication, you're like, oh, surely they've solved that by now. And you're like, oh my God, that dude's still on the lam, or they don't know who killed her or him or whatever. And there are a ton. So what makes me wonder is, why did they have 2 episodes in this season that dealt with something that was like, oh my God, you're going to spend a whole hour talking about Jack the Ripper and the Mothman?
That was my thought right out the gate.
Like,
episode 1 was Jack the Ripper, and dude, I was like,
even Jay knows about this stuff.
There's nothing new. Like, there was nothing. I thought maybe it would be like some new twist or some new finds.
I think it kind of dawned on me at the end, because I was like, what are they trying to? They hope some grandma in the UK is gonna be like, I know who it was.
I have a box of stuff.
That's not. Yeah, that's what they were after.
That's what they were looking for.
Because there was a lot of evidence that was stolen back in the day, and they're basically like, look, back in the day, police officers would be like, oh my God, this is Jack the Ripper evidence. I'm going to steal it.
They're throwing up a Hail Mary,
trying to get more stuff.
Just putting it back on everybody's radar. If you're cleaning out your grandma's house or something, and you find a box
that says from hell. If it says from hell on the bottom, send it into
that was weird. I didn't care for that one very much.
And then the Mothman one too, which again was
rehashed and no new info.
Like, dude, what are we doing? Why are we talking about this stuff? Like, you guys, Netflix is paying you a lot of money, and it's just like, I don't understand why they spent.
That was a fumble.
It was not a good look.
There was a good one though.
There were a couple good ones, and that's what we're going to talk about next. The ones we did actually like, as we do Dark Side of the Stream next on 104.7 The K. .7 The K, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio. Dark Side of the Stream, episode 196. This week we did Unsolved Mystery. So I got it out of my system. At least I can now talk about some of the episodes.
Yeah, we pitched the 2 dumpers.
The second episode was called Body in the Basement, and it talked about a man who came home to find his wife in the basement of their home. Blood literally everywhere. Calls the police. They come out. They start doing their investigation, and right out of the gate, things look extremely weird.
That was a weird one. Wasn't my favorite episode of this one.
Well, I'll tell you why it was heartbreaking.
But it was a weird story, and then it got even a little weirder there,
It did. It got very weird. And ultimately, the husband was cleared because he was out of town at his mother's house.
They're always the initial suspect.
Well, yeah, of course.
Whenever something goes
especially
down.
Since he was the one who found her and all that stuff. But ultimately, he was the last one to talk to her, and what he remembers is her talking. All of a sudden, the dog starts barking, and he hears a yelp, and then the phone goes dead.
Boom,
he can't find
her.
So what I think happened was that she was on the phone with her husband. She tripped over the dog, dropped the phone, smashed her head into that piggy bank, which they found on the side, went downstairs, was disoriented because she has a massive head wound, and ends up falling down, passing out, and bleeding out because she wasn't, the head injury didn't kill her. It was the loss of blood. So the fact that she laid there for so long and bled out, they could see feet prints all over the basement. There was no other DNA collected, which if she had been in a fight, there would have been DNA there, or handprints, or fingerprints, or feet prints,
it was weird,
or shoe
man.
prints.
It was wacky.
The only thing that existed in that basement was her stuff. And so, based on all the evidence that I saw, I think she just tripped over the dog, hit her head, and then bled out, which is horrible. How many times you ever had a dog?
Yeah.
How many times you trip over that stupid thing?
Yeah.
All the time.
But
Dude,
I
that's
just
what
don't.
it is.
I don't think if you were getting investigated by the police and you told them that story, nobody's buying that story, man.
Well,
you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
it's not. Well, again, you as an investigator have to go by what you see, and the fact
That's a
that there
tough
is
sell
no
right there.
DNA in that room, what other possibility could it have been? Well, Mothman, something
there you go.
something that levitate. That's more plausible than she tripped and hit her head and fell and bled out.
I don't know. I would hate to be in the interrogation room and try to
Well,
tell
hell
that
yeah,
story.
but her husband still believes that something happened to her.
Yeah.
And so does her family. They didn't think that he had anything to do with it, but they still think that there was an intruder. But the thing is, the door was locked. So again, how else did someone get in and lock the door right after?
I guess that solves it.
That one was crazy.
Unsolved, no more.
Also, there were a couple more that were interesting. We'll talk about those next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7. The Mike, the intern, Jay Stevens, back in the studio. It's Dark Side of the Stream, episode 196, discussing season 4 of Unsolved Mysteries. So, in this next segment, we're going to try and cover the two other ones. The first one was the severed head.
That was my favorite.
Old woman's head in a field,
dude.
With
you haven't lived life till you find a head.
Bouncy balls between her eye caps, which to this day they don't know where they know where that's one of the things about these investigators, man. Like, those bouncy balls, right?
Little red bouncy balls. Yeah, you get from the
they
machine.
Figured out where they were. I mean, they traced the manufacturer, man. That's so inevitably, if you are going to commit a crime, don't get any bouncy balls.
But that didn't help them at all.
Didn't help them at all.
They said
they have no idea.
There's bouncy balls all around the world.
All they know is that this woman had been embalmed, and they think that possibly it was soon, and maybe it was a grave robbery, and someone just kept the head there, left it there.
And then the dude kills himself. So that was a weird red flag, right?
What after? Oh, the one that they were
Jay, the guy's name, ironically. I feel like he had something to do with it. Had that telescope pointed there. I feel like he had something to do with it.
Well, that one was definitely an interesting one. The other one was interesting, which was another unsolved mystery, was the student who was found dead on the stage. I think after all that information, what do you think? It was a security guard?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. But
it was either a security guard or a police officer.
If anybody has information, call.
And again, call us. We want to be the ones.
Call us, and then we'll call them.
That one was insane. And again, there was that guy that was on the task force or whatever that had a whole bunch of things, and he had passed away too.
Yeah, so mysterious guy too.
That one is another one where it's like, well, if that's your main suspect and he's gone, what are you gonna do? Which really sucks. But those, I think, were really the middle three were the best ones. But
yeah, they were
the Mothman one and the
just rehashing old stuff.
I almost said Jack the Stripper. The Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Stripper. That's a great name.
It's a Black Sabbath song.
Is it really?
Yeah. Yes. God, you learn everything. You learn something new every day here.
I do.
We'll be back with our reviews. Dark Side of the Stream next on 104.7 The Cave. Mike, the intern, Jay Stevens, back in the studio one more time. It is Dark Side of the Stream, episode 196. This week we watched Unsolved Mysteries, season 4 on Netflix, and I'm going to give this thing 2.5. 2.5 Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah, because that was probably the good part of it, was about 2.5 episodes.
Yeah, and again, you guys make us wait this long. You come up with 4 or 5 episodes, and two of them are junkers. Yeah. So really 3. Come on, man. Who's the one
Netflix producers? Mike, the intern's not happy with you.
There's a million of
Mike's your biggest fan, and now he is
perturbed. Give me a call. I will be the one to tell you, hey, we need to figure out what happened to this girl. We need to have to this guy. What these guys do? There's so many out there that still need to be solved. And I know that's why they keep updating them, because they want to keep them in the public eye. So if you want that, come on, give me a call. I hope you pick the mysteries you need to do for the next season. Either way,
well,
it's up to Jay what we're going to watch next week.
Oddly, I may have insider information of what they may do next.
What?
Oddly enough, I'll tell you off the air.
Okay.
Yeah, oddly enough. Oddly enough. But my pick for next week, Netflix, How to Rob a Bank, I think is the name of it.
Okay.
I watched it already, and it's awesome.
Netflix, How to Rob a Bank. If you are in need of healthcare and can't afford it, there is another option for you. Hear about that guy in Cape robbed a bank, sat down,
Oh.
waited for the cops, and they were like, "Why'd you do it?" He's like, "I couldn't afford healthcare.
So I
Put
want
me
to
in
go to
prison."
jail.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's the move. Food, shelter.
You're in your 70s. They're going to put you in a medical wing. You don't have any money. I
Dude,
mean,
I'm not that far away then.
What kind of world are we living in where that's even
Yeah,
an
well,
option
that's
on the
the
table?
Bro, you know what? I can see that happening more and more,
Oh,
though.
bro, it happens
right?
all the time. It's
No,
crazy.
I can see like it accelerating
Yeah,
now. And
some people it's like, I've got nobody, I got no
Wow, I
family,
got
I don't want to
nobody.
die, and I
got
can't
no
afford
money.
this.
I don't want to be homeless.
Might as well go get locked up for a while.
Dude, that's the move.
I don't know if it's the move.
It's the,
The
no,
move
no,
is
that's
actually
another
changing-
sweeper.
the
Right?
move-
That's
the move
another
is
show
actually
promo. Jay
changing the
Stevens
issue
saying robbing a
and
bank is
making
the
it so
move.
where we don't have to rob banks because we can get the medical care.
Can we fix the issue?
I don't know.
That's up to you, folks.
Yeah,
the
vote in
listener.
November. I'm Mike the Intern. That's Jay Stevens reminding you.
We watch
movies so
documentaries.
you don't have to.
to.
Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.